Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Millennial Management Podcast. I am your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and today I am here with the Chief Meme Officer herself, and I cannot stop smiling because I have loved the content. We talked before, and I told her I thought it was a guy. I didn't know who ran this. I thought it was a group of people. But it is Miss Jamie Jackson. She is also a part of the HR Bestie podcast. And I'm just going to open the floor and allow her to introduce herself even more.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
so excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. But yeah, I have nominated myself and self-proclaimed Chief Meme Officer. So
Well
that's what I say. And I'm so happy you thought I was a dude, to be honest. Because I can't tell you how many DMs I get. They're like, bro, and I don't bother telling them. I don't because I'm like, let's go with the ruse.
I like
you don't
that.
think a chick could run this shit? Fine by me.
They don't think that, but I'm telling you, the content that you post is so relatable. It can stretch across any industry. Number one,
for sure.
A lot of the videos, I saw one about the I think I actually recorded a video about this where they were telling the other person that you cannot take off work, or even if you're off, you have to be available. What the hell? I'm not going to be available during my off hours.
No. If I'm off, I'm fucking off. Thank you.
Okay.
Goodbye.
That is it. I'm not going to be on call for you and available for you at any time. And now, Miss Jamie, could you please tell the people what you do?
Yeah. So, I'll do a little bit of a lot. Mm-hmm. I run several meme pages. So I run Humorous Resources, Millennial Misery, and Parody Parenting. And then I have one that's really just all me. So if you actually like me and you want to follow me, I'm at _Chief Meme Officer. But I'm also 1/3 of the HR Besties podcast. And so we're a podcast that's really not just about HR, but kind of what HR is. Because let's be honest, I think HR is... a lot of people don't understand what HR does. They just know them as the hiring and firing department. And really, there's so much more to HR. And I've been in this industry for 21 years. Yes, I'm that old. But it's been actually a lot of fun, and we've gotten great feedback, not just from HR professionals, but those like listening to it and being like, wow, I never realized what HR does and what all they're in charge of, to kind of learn, kind of peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
But I'm also a mom and a wife of a lot of kids, and I still work in corporate.
Wow.
Yeah, I still have a real corporate job. I'm actually an HR leader for a company, and they, thank God, are okay with my social media presence. Of course, I would never talk about them, but
exactly.
So I joke that I have 3 jobs. I have my social media, the podcast, and then my real job.
But the 4th job is a parent.
Yeah, a wife and mom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And
that's
those are 2 individual jobs, actually. But I think it's awesome that you're able to do that. I'm telling you, whenever you decide to write a book about the how to, because you have ran several successful social media accounts, maintain employment, you're still married.
Yeah,
and I suspect your children are not in the street. They're not.
They're not. They're not. They're pretty good kids, actually.
See,
honor roll and shit. I don't know how I did it. I don't know. It's not for me.
It's all luck. It's just like, you have just juggled it. And I talked to you about that when we had our first meeting. Yeah. Just like what? You are still working. I couldn't believe that. The still working part was amazing, because that can take up so much of your day. And do you work remote, or are you still on site?
I do work mostly remote. So I try to go in at least 1 day a week. And really, it's only for my mental health, because I like getting out of the house and seeing my little work besties. But I don't have to. But it's nice. And am I maybe at a place that I could afford to not work. I don't think I'm not comfortable enough there yet. I'm the breadwinner, so that's something that I always think about. Like, I worry about leaving corporate. Also, the content, like the amount of content I get on
if
a
you
daily
take yourself
basis.
out of the space,
I
what are
know,
you gonna do?
I worry about that. Also, I really do like what I do. I mean, HR is hard. HR is a thankless job, but I truly do enjoy what I do on a daily basis. And at least for the company I'm at right now, I'm thankful that they allow me the flexibility to have my social media, but also be present at work and like know that I'm going to do my job. Which, you know, I know that there's other creators that don't have that luxury, that they've got fired because they've had social media. So I feel very blessed in that sense. So I'm not ready to leave corporate just yet.
Yeah, me either. I think I'm gonna hang on to my job for a little while.
Yeah.
I actually like my job. It's super flexible. That's what I really enjoy. If it wasn't, then that will be something different. Right? Yeah, but the fact that I can do my job and still have my own life and enjoy my family and not feel overwhelmed and worrisome, that's what helps me say I can actually keep my job.
Exactly. And you know what? If you see my feet on the internet in a couple years, mind your business. Mind
your business. Because we wouldn't even know. You done ran all these pages. We would have no idea that these are the official meme officer's feet.
Yeah,
we don't
know. Oh, I finally said fuck corporate.
Okay,
these are my feet.
Okay. Here go the feet. All right, you might see my hands out on social media or something like that. Because here go my hands and my feet to make up my salary. Shit.
My husband would probably kill me, but that's okay.
I have a friend that makes jokes like that. She'll tell her husband, like, look, I'm one check away.
Shit, I am one Brenda in accounting away.
I'm telling you, play with me if you want to, Brenda.
I know, right?
Because my feet gonna be online and I'm gonna be paid. Nobody will ever know. I just won't wear any sandals.
Exactly, right? And I'll make sure, like, I joke on my personal account. I'll post photos of like my feet in them, and I'll put a censor bar over them, like as a joke. Yeah,
here they come, guys. That's what I'm saying. Don't play.
You ain't ready. You ain't ready.
Oh my goodness. Well, the Patreon was so wonderful to give us a few questions that they wanted to just kind of pick your brain about, because a lot of people are still in corporate. I know a lot of companies are doing layoffs right now, unfortunately, because we are in that system, or season, that happens every year. But we know that in January, there's this great hiring event.
Yep.
Y'all firing and hiring in 2 months apart is crazy. But the capitalistic society that we live in does that.
No. Yep.
So, and so I just want to first, I know we talked about some of the topics, but this one I don't think I told you about.
Ooh,
work-life balance.
Topic. Ooh.
Work-life balance.
Yeah.
And with you being in HR, I want to know, how can people who are still working, still want to enjoy their life, how can we still have a work-life balance without it affecting work? And how can we work and still perform without that affecting my personal life? Because some people think, if I work really hard, well, working really hard sometimes can cause a lot of other problems in your life. So what do you recommend when people talk about their work-life balance?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that I've actually personally struggled with in all of my career, because I'm kind of, my husband calls me a workaholic. Like, in my job in HR, like, you're helping people. So I always think if you're messaging me at 7:00 on Teams, it's because you need an answer. So I think I'm sitting down with my spouse trying to figure out my benefits for open enrollment, and I need an answer right then. And so if I message Jamie to help me, that's not really how it works though, right? I mean, there is a time and a place. So one thing I always say is you have to make your own boundaries of what works for you, because it's going to look different than it does for me or you, right? So one thing is, when I do go to the office once a week, but it is a good hour away.
Yeah.
And so I leave the office at 3:00 because if I leave at 3:30, it's a 2.5 hour drive home.
Yeah.
So if I don't hop in that car at 3, so I get home around 4-ish, and I get back on my computer. No one told me I had to get back on my computer, but I get back on for about an hour. And then I start making dinner for the family, and we do our normal thing. But that's something that works for me, but I wouldn't expect it to work for anyone else. Like, no one asked me to do that. And that's one thing I think that we miss a lot in the corporate world, and managers miss a lot specifically, is flexibility. Is we have got to be able to give flexibility to our employees to achieve that work-life balance. And so one thing as a manager that we should be doing, if we're leading teams, big or small, is making sure that we're providing that they feel safe to be like, hey, for instance, my son is he plays on the football team for middle school, and then my stepson is in high school basketball. So a lot of times some of those games start at 4:00 in the afternoon. So if I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna leave, I'm going, my team's is gonna be yellow come 4:00. And that's going to be okay, because as long as you're doing your job, it should not matter if I put 9 hours in, 8 hours in, 6 hours in, because ultimately, if the work's getting done and it's still of quality, doesn't matter, period. Yeah. So that's one thing I think that also depends on the company you're with, right? And what's their culture? What is their outlook on work-life balance? So if you're starting to interview for companies, get a feel for it. Ask those questions. Don't be scared, because it is so important, because this is going to be your job, maybe just for a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years. But to have that flexibility is so important in your life, no matter what it is that you need to leave early for, come in late, or whatever it is. Even not being scared, for instance, let's say you have a therapy appointment, not being scared to even I know you don't have to disclose that, but to say, hey, I have a lunch appointment outstanding every Thursday from 12 to 1. Okay, great. That's fine. That'll work, and just setting those boundaries early on, even in the interview process, to get that communication going with that new manager. But I can't tell you in my career how many times that I've had a manager come to me like upset about something, about one of their employees, and I'm like, oh, they have to leave to pick up their child early. Okay, and shit happens.
What is it really doing?
Yeah, exactly. So shit happens. Like, I'd always literally flip it and say to the manager, okay, if your child's sick, what's going to happen? Well, I'd have to go pick them up. Okay, so how is this any different? Or I remember one time specifically, this one really irked me, is someone was leaving early to get their car worked on. And I said, well, is this a car that they drive to come to work every day? Well, yeah. Okay, so if they're proactively making sure that their car is usable to come to and from work, like, this isn't a hobby. They're not like fixing up a 73 Camaro in their garage,
this is what they use to drive to get to work.
I'm every single day. Exactly. What is a couple hours today gonna matter? Now, and
what it is though, Jamie?
It's power.
And come on, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You just want the control over the people.
Yep. And that's what I think is the hardest in my position in HR, is like making a manager realize that it's okay.
You're overreacting. Yes. But what happens if you're not? Well, let's be for real. Yeah. We know that the pendulum can swing in either direction. You can have somebody who is a great employee and you just have a bad manager.
Yep.
But those two things can be the other way around too, where you have a good manager and a bad employee. Yep. So what happens when you have those moments like that?
And I think I'm a big trust but verify. So you have to be flexible, because you don't know. And it's when they start abusing that the flexibility and their work isn't getting done, or they're, that one day that you let them come in a little bit late because of whatever reason, then now every day it's I have to come in. Yeah. So if there's a pattern and they're like a habitual line stepper, that's when you have to like correct it and reel it back in, because there are going to be people that abuse that. No matter what job, what industry, there's going to be people that abuse your flexibility. So that's when you as a leader have to draw a line sometimes. And that's hard because you obviously want to be liked, right? And you want to make sure you're giving that flexibility, the same flexibility you'd want to give to your employees. But sometimes you give people an inch, they're going to take a yard. And next thing you know, they're running down the block. So, you have to know when, okay, this is now abuse of my flexibility. Right. So now we need to reel this back in. Right. Or it's not working on the car going back to and back from work. This is their hobby project that they should be working on the weekends or something. You know what I mean? Like that's something that is not you as a manager have to do a little bit more digging and finding out and be like, okay, I'm in healthcare. So, and I have been the last 11 years of my career. So a lot of times I'm dealing with doctors and nurses and we have set schedules, right? So we have, let's say we stop seeing patients at 6 o'clock. And so it's very difficult for doctors and nurses to have certain, like being as flexible with like corporate employees, because we have patients scheduled and sometimes these patients are scheduled months and months in advance. But still having some sort of policy that builds in that flexibility. Like even we at one job, we built them as flex hours because people still need that regardless. Or like I live in Tennessee and unlike Michigan, when we get snow, it's like all hell breaks loose. So
it's
so
like
literally the city just shuts down. So, but also like shit happens once again, inclement weather, whether it's a hurricane, a tornado, snow, also being aware of that and being like, okay, well, maybe we need to let these people go early. We'll cancel appointments, everything after 3 p.m. so we can make sure our employees get home safely. So it's like
the storm.
Exactly. So it's like thinking of all of these things and how, yes, are they going to impact business? 100%. But what's going to happen if 3 or 4 employees and patients get in a wreck on the way to their appointment or going home? So it's kind of like weighing all that as well, which is very difficult to do. And there's no easy formula for that.
How important do you think it is for the CEO, right? Because we're talking about the culture that managers have to kind of create, but the CEO or the person who owns the company has to support that. Like you cannot just say, the manager has to be flexible, but then the CEO is not. So it's the culture of the company has to be set from the top going down, right?
That is 100% accurate. And so one thing I've always tried to do is I try to work like I have a relationship with the CEO and it's for that very reason. Now, sometimes you're not as lucky, right? Sometimes that CEO doesn't value HR. So it's how are you going to get in? Maybe it's operations. Maybe it's who is the CEO's best bud? Like, where do you fit? Look, I've left organizations because the owner / president CEO wasn't flexible and I knew he was not going to be. And something happened. There was a sexual harassment case that landed on my desk and he basically told me that I shouldn't meddle, which I knew at that point that was not the company for me. If he wasn't going to take a sexual harassment claim seriously, not only was that not the company for me, but there really wasn't anywhere for anyone to go there. And so you have to recognize that. And it sucks in the moment. But this is why if you ask these questions in an interview process, you hopefully will get some clarity, because the grass isn't always greener and you don't know 100% what you're walking into. But try to ask those questions as much as you can in the interview process. I know that's easier said than done. But you can really get a good feel of the corporate culture
Yeah.
from some of those questions.
Some of
because
the interview questions is what you're saying?
Yeah,
now,
because
what are some questions that we can look for?
I think a good question to ask would be like a flexibility question. And I don't think it even has to be per your, like, my son plays a football game every Tuesday at 5:00. Like, I don't even think it has to be like that rigid, right? Because like, let's say the football season's only a couple months long or whatever. Same thing with the basketball season. Like, it's not going to be. But if you're asking like general questions about flexibility and how it's viewed in the culture. Also, I love if it's a panel interview and you're speaking to like what would be your peers in the position, is to ask just general questions like, what are some things you do to have fun? Because I think that speaks volumes. If the company allows you to have fun on company time, I think that's a big tell on culture. And I know a lot of us are like probably puking right now, like in their cars while they're listening to this. Not even, but like even dumb stuff though, right? Like, I'm not talking about putting us all in a van and taking us to Topgolf, like nothing like that, or Trust Falls. I'm talking about
planned that trip.
No, because I would still be there. But like, I'm talking about like real fun. Like, are we joking in the office? Are we having silly dress up days? Are we watching YouTubes? Are we like
is it relaxed?
Like US Open? Are we blasting that on in the boardroom on the screen that people can come and go and pop in and out to watch US Open? You know what I mean? Like, what is the vibe in the office? Because I think that, like, granted, some of those fun stuff, like, I'm not talking about forced fun. I'm talking about like the random fun, right? Like the CEO walking around, knocking on your door, like laughing with you. You know what I mean? Like just last week I had our CEO, I was in the office and he came up to me and he was like, hey, how's the podcast going? Like, just genuinely asking questions about the person. You know what I mean? And I think that's different. Like when it's authentic, you feel it. And I think that's something you can pick up in an interview. Is it authentic?
Yes.
Is it real? You know?
Yes.
Are we sitting
you
here
should
like
be able to have some discernment.
Yeah.
Okay. They can't really answer questions about the environment, about the team dynamic. It's hard to know who is in charge. Okay. You got one person looking like they do not want to be there.
Yeah.
And they're trying to signal you.
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah.
Or with the nervous laughter that one person's like, yeah, everybody's, it's so great. We have a good time. And the other person's like, yeah.
like LinkedIn and tell me the truth.
Like, this is actually hell.
Like,
okay,
run, girl, run.
That's what they really want to tell you. Get your ass up. Get your
I'm trying to get out.
And, like, they looking at you like this. The interview, go.
Like, I'm trying to get out of here too, girl. Leave.
I'm telling you ready here trying to get this position, girl. Get the hell up out of here. And a lot of times I had one baby, we had a meeting and I was trying to tell her, like, you are so frustrated about this lady in this job, but you this lady hate this damn job. That's why she's so mean to you. It ain't got nothing to do with you. She hates the job. That's the real issue. She does not like the job. And so you're frustrated and mad. Well, I don't understand why she, treat me like this or why she acting like this. She doesn't like the damn job.
Yeah.
It ain't even got nothing to do with you. She just
like, give her 6 months, she'll probably be gone.
Hell yeah. And you gonna be her in a minute. So take the damn cue, okay? The top question that I have received in Patreon is about remote work.
I love this one.
Number one, what are some of the biggest challenges with remote work? And number two, how to not get fucked up at work with that remote work. Because some of y'all don't wiggle their mouse enough. Okay? You're not typing. So how can we avoid that?
So obviously, being in healthcare is it's a little different, right? I'm still remote. But it is a little different than some industries that have been remote even pre-pandemic, right?
Yes.
But I've really been remote just post-pandemic. So even during the pandemic, I was in a small nonprofit clinic in the office. Like, I didn't get to leave the office, even though I was like a quote unquote corporate employee. So I think there's a couple things. Like, I know when I'm working at home, I truly am strapped to my desk working.
Okay.
But that's me. I know other people that aren't. They're out running errands. They're out shopping at TJ Maxx, wiggling their mouth. Like, you have to know what you have to do.
And they're on social media.
Yeah. Like,
come with me while I work remote in Target.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Like, I joke about that stuff and I make TikToks and stuff, but I'm doing it on Saturday or after hours.
This is a Saturday, or I'm off. I am not actually at Target at 3:00. On the clock shopping for a new set. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Some people have their computers right there.
Well, and so that's the thing is, like, I think that I'm way more productive when I work from home than I am in the office. In the office, I'm visiting. I'm deciding to have an 8th cup of coffee because I can. I'm snacking. I'm walking around. I am so unproductive at the office.
Oh yeah.
At work, I mean, but at home, I am laser focused and I'm chained to my desk. Now, when 5 o'clock hits, though, I'm done.
Okay.
Like, because that is one thing for me, it's a little different. Like, I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm out. Close it down. But I think there's a couple differences, right? Like, I know what needs to get done in a day, and so if you are someone who is responsible enough, I guess I don't know if that's the word that I'm looking for, but if you know how to manage your time and you know what needs to get done in a particular day, then sometimes your day might end at 3.
That's me.
And like, sometimes that shit's gonna happen. Like, if you manage your day enough and you get shit done, your day might end at 3 and it might not end at 5.
Jamie, let me tell you, Jamie, today I went to a location because I work in corporate dentistry, and we had a training that was supposed to happen with at the location, but there were supposed to be patients. The doctor had a family emergency, so we had to close the office, and it was just the front staff, myself, and another administrative member, or team member. When I tell you, I was ready at 2:00. I had 4 meetings. 4 meetings, then installed or walked the tech company through another location to let them know where I wanted them to install x-rays, then order sensors. I have done so much. And by the time 2:00 come, where's the Chipotle?
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Like, I'm wrap it up.
I'm like, okay, I'm done. I've done plenty. I've done so much. I've emailed, I've responded to emails. I've done so much. So, but it's just like that, having that time to be productive, because I'm not constantly stopping. There's nobody calling me. There's nobody saying, oh, Brandy's on site today. Let me go and take 50 of my problems to her. Or, hey, like, I want to talk to you about this, or whatever. Even the doctors, like, engaging in conversation. They come in because they only see me like once or twice a week. And if I'm there more than that, then they know that their office is not doing well. That's like,
here
2 days in a row. Like,
but I think this is also where flexibility comes in again. Like, it's a key word. But once again, if you are allowing your employees that flexibility, like, okay, I did everything I needed to get done today. It's 3:50. I'm technically off at 5. Why can't they be done for the day? Yeah, like, why can't they be done for the day? Or is it something that, or are you forcing them to stay on as busy work and mouse jiggle?
Yeah.
So it's like, one thing that I like about remote work is, like, we're not babies. You don't have to babysit us in the office. You don't. And so if I can still do the same amount of work in 8 hours I would at the office and 6 at my home, what does it matter? As long as that person is still being productive and getting their work done, I don't think there should be time constraints on it. Now, I do know it is different, right? So like in like a customer service setting, there are, certain hours that customers are calling, and I do, and I know there's different metrics and people have to hit, and I understand jobs are different.
Yeah.
But I would be, if you're that bored at a job that you have a mouse jiggler, Jesus Christ, tell me where you work, honey, because I need that job. So that's one. But two, also, like, if you're satisfied with that, go on, child. Like, yeah, like,
live your life, baby.
Yeah, I clearly love misery because I have 28 jobs. So like I couldn't handle being bored. Matter of fact, I left a job not that long ago, about this time last year, because I was bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
I like being busy. I like helping people. That's why I got into this profession. I like feeling like, not that I'm bringing shareholder value. Honestly, fuck shareholder value. But I do really want to feel like I'm making a difference to employees. Like employees are my customer. Yeah. I am their resource. So that is one thing I do want to do. So if those days I end at 4 and really my day, quote unquote, ends at 5, I might find something busy work. Maybe it's filing. Of course, it's all electronic, so it's easy. But you know what I mean? Maybe it's something like that to keep me online for the next hour. Maybe it's not. Look, my husband and I started watching Lost on Netflix. I never watched it back in the day. And we are sucked in.
Are you really?
Yeah. Oh my God. Why? I don't know why. The show pisses me off. So first of all, I'm a very logical thinker. This is a sidebar. I'm a very logical thinker, and I usually can figure out a movie's plot in 15 minutes. It drives my husband nuts. But I can't figure out Lost, and it's making me so aggravated. So every time I watch it, I'm like,
From. But, are you watching From?
No.
Girl, let me tell you something. I, too, am a logical thinker. And I think whoever is writing this damn show, they don't even know what the fuck is about to happen.
Okay. Well, that's kind of how I feel about Lost. I feel like these motherfuckers... Because I was like, is this based off a book? Because it seems like it changes so much. But we're on, I think we're about to wrap up season 4 now, and there's 6 seasons.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, like last week, I ended work at 4. My husband was already home. He's like, you want to watch some Lost? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like before dinner. Like, look, I mean, if my boss, if someone needed something, I have Teams on my phone. I don't suggest that for everyone.
Right.
Because
that's only if you can maintain it and say no.
Boundaries.
Okay? Boundaries.
But I have Teams on my phone. So if someone needed something, they could easily Teams me, and I could either hop on my laptop or just respond to them via my phone. Now, I know that's not going to work for everyone, but it works for me. So I kind of said earlier in this episode, you have to know what your boundaries are and what works for you, because it's going to look different for me and you as it is for everyone else who's listening. And it also depends on where you work, right? Like, but that is why as a manager, it's so important to give that flexibility to your employees, because they're not children. Allow them to be independently, work independently, but also trust but verify. I have a team of employees. I trust them to do their jobs and to do it accurately. If they need my help, they know they can come to me at any moment, and I'm going to give them help, my assistant. Even if I just need to be CC'd on an email and be a bitch, I got you.
Okay.
But yes, as a manager, I do have to verify though, right?
Yeah.
So did you send that report to Greg, and Greg has some questions back, and Greg CC's me? I'm going to verify everything that you sent was correct, and then I'm going to back you up. But I think that is a part what a manager's job is. I think is to kind of take a step back.
To control.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people want to do. They want to be a manager because they lack the control in their real life.
Yeah.
So they're like, hell yeah, I can control the outcome of this person's day every single day. I'm going to make it a living hell.
And I think a lot of times people are promoted for the wrong reason. So, so-and-so spent 10 years and they're really good at this job, so we should promote them.
Not even that they're really good. They just have been here a long ass time.
Yeah, they've been here too long.
Sally has been here for 14 years, so that's automatically the manager.
Go ahead.
Whether she's qualified, kind, or not.
Exactly. And then they don't set them up for success. So they provide them no kind of manager training. They've never been a manager, and they have no idea, other than maybe who managed them before, who might have been a complete dick, right? How to do it properly. So that's one thing companies need to make sure is look, I've worked for small companies. There are free resources out there for manager training, or there's inexpensive even training for manager training. But you as a manager, even a new manager, should seek out those resources yourself. And also you should kind of have an idea too, like, oh my God, that Glenn was a huge dick, and I know I want to be nothing like him. So as a manager, I'm going to do everything I can to not be like how Glenn was to me.
Because Glenn was awful. He was awful. He was an asshole.
Yeah. So I think there's people in positions that shouldn't be, for sure, but that's going to be at any company you go to. So there's unfortunately no escaping that.
You just have to figure out, like, that's what my page is mainly about, is not so much how to avoid it, because you cannot really avoid it. People lie all the fucking time. Okay. They lie every day. They wake up and they're going to tell another one before they go to bed. So you going in there, you're going to be able to ask those questions, but that's why discernment is important. But then when you get in that company, they may start doing some things that you don't really like, that you don't necessarily care for. And you have to figure out whether or not this is something that you want to deal with. Is it something that you can tolerate? What are you willing to deal with? That's it. If you have a micromanager and they're not really, doing a whole lot, they're just like, hey, did you get a chance to do this? Hey, did you get, like, they're just like one of those people, but they're not rude. They're not nasty. They are just a control freak, and that's it. But they're not being, facetious and rude and, just evil at work. You can deal with that.
Yeah. You
can deal with that until it's time for you to go on to the next place, because you go on to the next one. You think Robert was being crazy?
And you're like, damn, Robert was actually manageable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to live with that mistake. That's what, like, I really make content for. It's like, make the decision that makes sense. Sometimes people be ready to quit their job, and it ain't even worth quitting.
Yeah.
The reason is so little, or you let your coworkers run you about their damn job.
Oh, yeah.
That's like, oh my God. I know this is not what we talked about, girl, but
I know.
That is something like bad management, and these coworkers running you up out of a job is insane.
It is. Because fuck them, honestly.
That's what I be saying, Jamie. Girl, I literally, every day, I'll be like, fuck them people. Today was Monday motivation. You know what the opener was? Fuck them people at that job. Fuck them.
Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify is there to help you grow. Shopify helps you sell everywhere, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout, 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms, and sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. What I love about Shopify is how no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., and Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Real.
Seriously, like, you up here bent out of shape, crying, snotting and carrying on, got headaches, migraines. Your body your body is suffering because you are allowing these people to dictate whether you are going to smile or you are going to cry. Fuck them.
Yeah, it ain't worth it.
Y'all hear this? This is the HR professional. Come on now. I'm not in HR. I'm an operations manager, but I have had to do some hiring. I've had to do some firing, but baby, fuck them people, please.
Yeah. For real.
Like, how have you ever seen retaliation from a manager, like in the HR sector? Have you seen that where you've had to deal with a possible retaliation situation?
Yes, I definitely have, from like bad managers.
Yeah.
And typically, I will say it's always worked in the employee favor.
Yeah.
Now, are there bad HR? Absolutely. There's bad managers, there's bad CEOs, there's bad everyone, there's bad employees.
Everything. Yeah.
So that's another thing. Like, you're never truly going to know walking in exactly what you're getting into, right? But yes, I've seen it, and retaliation is 100%. That's a red flag word for me. So if you're coming to me and you're saying retaliation is one of those words, that's going to shoot up. Hold on. Hold on. I'm documenting everything from here on out. This is no longer a vent session.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If you're coming to talk to me, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say, are you coming to vent just to talk? Or are you coming to, like, literally you want me to start writing an investigation? This is a complaint. Because some people just truly want to vent. They just want to get it off their chest. They're frustrated. And maybe they just need me to give them like a few pointers, or just like, hey girl, it's okay. We all get there.
Everybody ain't Jamie, y'all.
No, that's true.
Please.
That's true.
Okay. Now Jamie is wonderful. She is kind. However, Barbara them, they are not Jamie.
Yeah.
And you go in there venting to them, they're going to take it literal.
You have to know, and you have to trust. And that's not just HR, that's even your manager, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's establishing that relationship, hopefully early on.
Yeah.
I know me and my current boss, I report to the CHRO. When we like get down to business, we go, it's okay, this is homegirl to homegirl. And that means that it doesn't leave.
Yeah.
It doesn't leave this conversation. This is just like, hey, I'm frustrated with so-and-so.
Yeah.
I don't need you to do anything. I don't need to do anything. I just need to get off my chest. This person was an asshole.
Yeah.
Homegirl to homegirl. And I think that's important, because that's a safe place that she can feel safe venting to me, but I can also feel safe venting to her, and know that neither party is going to go, run our mouths, because we just need to like get it off our chest. But
I do want to say, homegirl to homegirl in a Teams message, y'all. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Is that right, Miss Jamie?
Be careful, y'all. And I hate to say that, but as someone who has unfortunately been a part of lawsuits, all of that, all the Teams messages, Slack messages, emails,
I'm surprised this was not the number one question.
I know, right? All of that is supported as evidence. So what I say, get your work bestie's cell phone number. Text that shit all throughout the day if you need someone. Like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Do they have a personal Insta? Be friends with them on personal Insta, and send each other reels from from Brandy or me, and be like, oh my God, this is Glenn today.
Yes.
Like, all day long, but do not send it on company property, guys. I've just seen it happen too many damn times. And look, here's the thing. I'm not reading it. It's not me. First of all, one, I don't have access. Two, I could give two shits, because I probably feel the same way as you do. But it's the lawyers. When it gets to that point and you are filing a lawsuit, it's the lawyers that are, and actually, you know what? I can't think of his screen name. Matt Margolis, though. It's Matt Law. I think he actually does a great series on this, about, it's when it lands all on his desk and he gets to read through the Slack and the emails. Cause HR doesn't even have access to that. And trust me, I don't have time to read all that.
No, no company is searching. But if there is ever a question about what is being said in these messages, it is retrievable.
Yep.
At any point in time. Because you have a global administrator on Teams, and I am the global administrator for our company.
See, so it's funny that you said that. So worked at a small nonprofit, and I was the HR director and the COO. It wasn't Teams or Slack. It was some bullshit. I was a nonprofit, so it was like some bullshit, probably free messenger service. But since it was in healthcare, supposedly the messages deleted after 24 hours because a lot of the nurses would like ping back and forth to each other about, okay, patient is in room 8A, they're complaining of this. So like we had to, quote unquote. But I found out soon after I started working that the COO had access to all of the chats. Not only did she have access, she used to call it her personal Twitter. Because she would go downstairs because we sat up in the C-suite upstairs. She would go downstairs, she would scold someone and get on, and then she would go to their quote unquote Twitter. And she would look at the messages that they were sending.
Jamie.
Now, this bitch, I don't know how she had this time because, frankly, if she was doing her job,
because if you really doing your job, you don't have time to check and do anything.
But when I found that out, like I said something to her, I was like, "Girl, I just was like that's." I was like, "That's very inappropriate." Yeah. And I mean, she had been there 20 something odd years, and she, know, what is this new little HR girl saying I'm inappropriate, and I was just like, so she wouldn't bring it up to me, but I knew like I would find on the printer where she would print them and save them. And so that is something I was constantly battling
and thinking about and knowing.
Yeah. So I would, if I would like, I would basically tell employees, watch what you fucking say on there. And I wouldn't, and I would never say so-and-so has access. I would just say, be careful. Keep it to work. If you need to vent, you text somebody on your personal cell phone, not a company cell phone. That's another issue. That's another thing. Do not put it on a company cell phone.
On the company computer, searching for a job on the company computer, guys.
In my 21 years, I never knew how much porn.
Oh my God.
I really didn't. Like I was shocked. Like, look, you do you, boo. You do you. Maybe not at work.
What?
I mean, maybe not at work, but you do you, boo. What I mean, but why are you on your work computer? Like, that literally, like, there's an IT guy and his screen is going
everything
red
of what you are doing, and it flags them.
That screen is going red right now, saying so and so access Pornhub. Like what? And then next thing you know, he's calling me, going, Miss Jamie.
Oh my God!
I swear, like
so when you have a situation, let's just talk for real. When you have a situation where somebody is searching inappropriate things or saying things that can be seen as inappropriate, what is the protocol?
Well, so porn is immediate termination, right?
Hell yes.
Searching.
Now you got all the time in the world to go play with that thing.
Yeah, searching probably is also immediate termination, depending on what exactly the search is. Obviously, if you're searching Target, like for diapers, or like the price of diapers, like I that's not. But depending on what kind of like poop porn or something you're searching, then yes, that's an issue. As far as like your like I know I said this, but like your chats aren't necessarily getting flagged.
Yeah,
you could say go kill so-and-so. That's not going to get flagged. That's really only going to come up in lawsuits. So the things that are really getting flagged are the porn or like those highly sensitive words.
Like racial terms.
Yes. Like, I mean, there's some very, and I search things. I've done a little bit of Christmas shopping on my work computer. Like I'll literally be sitting here going, oh, I'm going to look.
Something popped in your head. Yeah.
I sometimes pay my bills. I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to pay my electric bill. Like no one gives a shit about that. We all do it.
Yeah.
But it's when that line is crossed. So, I remember one time this guy, he was a professor and he was grading his papers at work, and sometimes he was even like going in his class and like doing little videos for his class, but it wasn't during the class time, and he was physically at work. He was a social worker, and so that didn't flag. It wasn't until we realized that he was blocking his calendar for certain hours every day, and we were trying to schedule patients, and we were like, hey dude, And he's like, oh no, those are my blocks. I need those blocks. And we were like, well, unfortunately, we need you to be a little bit more flexible because these patients, they need to be seen during this block because that's their lunch hour. And, unfortunately, these are the hours you're contracted. And it wasn't until someone was like, oh, well, he's a professor. And I was like, And I didn't put 2 and 2 together for a while. Like it kept happening. It was like a good month. And I was like, run that shit. I told the IT guy, I said, run it. And sure enough, the guy had been working at his job. And look, I'm on social media. I get it. But I'm on social, I schedule stuff, 1.
Yeah.
2, I also, if I'm on it, it's not like an hour or hours. Like just be
blocking
mindful
hours
of that.
of time.
Yeah. Like just be mindful of that and what you're doing. Like, and that's kind of where like the work-life balance, like if, for instance, later this week, my son is having a Thanksgiving lunch at school. I'm going to block my calendar for that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to my son's school.
Yes.
And I'm going to have Thanksgiving lunch. If anyone asks me, I'll tell them exactly where I was.
Exactly.
Do I sometimes run up to CVS to get my prescription? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like these are things that are not
disrupting the day
for hours. These are things that are I'm doing quickly. I mean, obviously the lunch is only 30 minutes in elementary school, but so I'm really not going to be gone that long. But you know what I mean? Like these are things, there's a reason why I have a block on my calendar.
Right.
And I easily, like if my boss asked me, I'd be like, absolutely. I put that block because it is my youngest son's Thanksgiving lunch and I'm going to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, just be mindful about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I constantly put blocks on my calendar. And it might be for silly things. It might be for my commute. I block my calendar for commute when I go in the office just because. Does it mean that I can't be on a call? Absolutely. I take a lot of calls from the car.
But you can't be texting and all of that. Yeah.
I can't be in a meeting I can be a meeting, but I can't truly be 100% present. So if you're presenting, I can't see the slides. I'm not going to be able to present slides. Like I can listen. And I could even chime in, but I'm not going to be 100% engaged because I'm in the car. So I think that's, oh God, I'm going to say it again, flexibility, right? And just like knowing, how flexible you can be and those blocks and like, cause we have lives outside of work and we should be able to participate in lives outside of work.
Exactly.
Even when they fall during working hours.
Exactly.
Things do happen.
So going into our last topic, which is on everybody's mind. Okay. However you voted, y'all, diversity and equity and inclusion, it affects everyone, whether you realize it or not. So a lot of people are asking what steps with the current climate can we take to create a more diverse and inclusive workspace? The second one is how can leaders foster a culture of belonging?
So I think there's a couple things here. One, I will be interested to see how everything shakes out come January.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too political here. But what I will say is I'm worried. Yeah. And I think even prior to the election, there was companies that were omitting certain parts of DEIB and dropping them all together. And I think that is scary, and that's a telltale sign of where we're heading. And I think the election just is another highlight of that. So, for instance, I mean, we talked about this on the HR Besties podcast, but SHRM, which is Society of Human Resource Management, it is basically the top certification for human resource professionals. I am not SHRM certified. I have not been for a very long time because I don't agree with their standings, but they dropped the I in DEIB. And granted, all of it is important, and I'm not saying the I is the most important, but I is inclusion.
Yeah.
And so when you kind of get to this where companies are outwardly posting like press, like releasing press about them no longer supporting these initiatives. It's scary. And I think
performative too, because they were all about it, depending on which way
which way that pendulum was
going,
right?
Come on.
And I think if we would have seen a different result in the election, I hate to say it, but I don't think we'd be swinging this way. And I could be wrong. But so that's what scares me, is because I think it's so important, right? Like I don't want us to go backwards. And workforces are never 100% if we don't have those things.
Yep.
Oh, work is work, but when we include people and we have the diversity, the equity, the inclusion, the belonging, no one feels like they're not part of the team. And I'm not going to say family because I fucking hate. We're like a family.
Me too, girl. We are not family.
They're not part of the team. And that is so important. And I think, yes, it is just a job. And you're just going to go there and you're going to get your paycheck. But it's so much more meaningful when you feel like you're respected, like you're wanted, like you're valued. And frankly, that should not matter, the color of your skin, male or female. I mean, there's so many, they or them. Like, why should any of that matter? And I hate that companies are making this bold statement of dropping their initiatives, because where are we going to go? Where do we go from here? Because it feels like we're just going backwards, and that's scary. So one thing I think, not only as HR professionals, but as managers, what we can do is make sure we are still living that culture.
Yeah.
And we're still promoting it. And, we're being thoughtful about it, but we're also, it's not something that you can't say, well, I don't think about it. Like it just happens. No, you do actually have to think about including all of those things when you're interviewing candidates, when you're thinking about people to promote. Like, these are things you always have to be thinking about. It's not something that you're just putting in the back of mind because, oh, it's going to happen how it should. No. You have to always be proactively making sure that the DEIB is always in your forefront.
The initiative that we have to take. Yeah.
Because even though your company might not be promoting it, or, they put out a press release that they're no longer, you as a person should be, and you should be a safe place for your employees regardless.
Yes.
So I think that's really important. And like I said, I don't want to get too political, but I think it scares me a little bit. And I'm a little fearful where we will be come January.
I don't feel like it's going to happen that soon. I think it's going to be something that happens in large doses over time.
Yeah.
You're
probably 100% right. Yeah.
It's going to be something that, and then we're going to swallow one dose, and then it's going to be like, this is the next one.
Yeah.
And this is the next one. And it's just going to happen over time. And then you look up, and 20 years later, that life is totally different. Wages are totally different.
Yes.
The way that we have had the luxury of working from home, because I will say, I'm 34. I remember when I was like 12, 13, you thought that working from home was a scam.
Oh, yeah.
The people used to send the work from home. You get paid 5 cents per page or whatever. Like, and moms used to do this just to make some passive income. But really, it was a scam. People weren't really, it's like selling, what is some of that? Like,
MLMs.
Those MLMs and stuff like that. It's like that type of stuff. But now that has become the norm, to where people are looking for that at a job. And a lot of it is because of accommodations.
Yeah.
But if they don't have to make these accommodations anymore, what do we do?
Yeah.
And where does that put the workforce?
And that's what scares me the most.
Yeah.
Is because what's going to happen now? What's going to happen next?
Yeah.
But I think, me as a white woman, like, I have to be the one that speaks up, and I have to have a voice, and I feel like I always have. But I mean, even in my position now with
Right.
running these meme pages is I try not to get like too political, but I will
Yeah.
dog the fuck out of a company. Like I've
Yes.
dogged the fuck out of Johnny C. Taylor, who's the president and CEO of SHRM, for the things that he's done. Like you have to call these people out. And I don't have, you know, this giant ass platform, but I know that I do have enough that I can speak up
and bring it to people's attention. A lot of people don't know.
Exactly.
Because some people get their news on social media.
Yep.
They are not watching the news. They have no idea.
No.
And when things happen, it's a lot of times it's in the dark.
Yeah.
People don't they're not out here being like, you know what we're going to do?
Yeah.
We're not going to support this. They're not doing that. They do it in the dark. So I applaud you for bringing that to the light, because I actually had somebody who was going to take one of those, the exams to get the SHRM. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, this is great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that sounds
I
awesome.
didn't know that. I had no idea until you said that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. I mean, there's other HR certifications that are great that someone could get that is just as respected.
Exactly.
And then from this agency that is unfortunately run by a man who, you know, honestly, I feel like probably will end up somewhere in line with Donald Trump as far as like maybe the DOL or
I was just about to say definitely over the Department of Labor, because you put somebody like that over how the work restrictions, labor, they know exactly what to do to make it legal. A lot of stuff that happens at work is just unethical, but it's totally legal.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what's hard sometimes being in HR is like letting you know, like, I cannot do anything about so-and-so being an asshole. But
that is not illegal.
Yeah. But it's not illegal to be an asshole. But what I can do is, you know, if you provide me documentation and proof.
Wait, Jamie, wait. Skirt. If you provide what?
Documentation and proof.
My God.
So I want those emails. I want those Slack messages. I want those Teams messages. Start building a case. Because that's what I'm going to ask you for. If you come to me and say so-and-so is, you know, I feel like maybe not the word isn't retaliatory, or maybe, you know, I feel like I'm being harassed or whatever it is. If you are showing me proof of this person treating you differently than anyone else, whether it's the color of your skin or you're a female or a male, or you are a part of the LGBTQIA community, get all of it, you know, keep as much as you can.
Because if you didn't document it, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
It only happened in your mind.
And I hate that. I hate it. But as someone who's been doing this for 21 years, unfortunately, that's what I, as an HR professional, am going to have to like be able to move forward is that proof and that documentation.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Miss Jamie. This has just been amazing.
Oh, well,
this has been amazing. Like, it was just such a great transition. Like, you know, we had the recruiter cousin on how to get that job, but now let's solidify how to keep it.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay? And learn the difference.
Do we want to keep it?
Okay, that's the question. Do we want to keep this job? And then also learning the differences of illegal and unethical. Okay, because like you said, it is not illegal for somebody to be an asshole. Maybe it's wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're a good person. Yeah,
no, but that is not illegal. It's not against any policies. So unfortunately, we have to go another way. And she did tell y'all to document. If you are going through a situation at work, if you are going through something with your boss or with anyone in your company, you need to make sure that you document. Otherwise, it did not happen.
Yep.
Yes. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really, really appreciate it. Y'all remember to please follow Miss Jamie at
at humorous_resources, millennial_misery. And if you actually like me and you want to see all of me, at _chief meme officer.
Yes. And where can we listen to your podcast?
It's at HR Besties Pod, and just the HR Besties Pod on Apple and Spotify.
All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful day. We will see y'all on the internet. Bye-bye.